Hello, everybody. How are you? All right. I'm just going through. Did I get that right? I did get that correct. Surprise, surprise. Hey, guys. Oh, dear. All right. Hello, good day to you too. Hello, hello. Hope all is good with you and your farm. Yeah, it's pretty good. Except I'm thinking one of the geldings is actually a rig, which means that when he was gelded, he has an undescended testicle, which means he is still a stallion, and he wasn't gelded correctly. Um, yeah, his behavior is that of a stallion, and I've had a bit of suspicion for a while, and I thought, okay, well, we haven't had him that long. Maybe he was gelded not that long ago, and he's taking a while for his hormones to settle. But what I saw yesterday, that's not a gelding. That is not a gelding behavior. Not in any shape or form is that a gelding behavior. So, yeah, a stallion on a farm full of mares. Right go then. It's okay. Well, welcome to Camelot. hmm Welcome to Camelot. Now we have a yearling colt and a 4-year-old stallion on a farm full of mares that has one, two, three geldings, 20 horses, three geldings, and two males, the rest females. Things just got a little bit more complicated here at Camelot. Um, mhm, Yep. Uh, anyway, all right, I'm supposed to be doing Mullico right now, and meditation, and I not long woke up, but there's been something that's been bothering me for a while now, and it has to do with the MedBeds and those who were convert vaxxed. Um, so I'm just going to give it to you. I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to give it to you. I'm still asleep. But as I was setting up to do Mullico, it's just like, it's bothering me. I need to find out the truth. I need to find out if anything's changed. Originally, those who were convert vaxxed went in the MedBeds after those who had not been vaxxed. And this was because by choosing to take the vax, okay, if you chose, no matter what the reason was, to keep your job, to travel, to visit sick people, whatever the reason was, you chose. You chose to sit there and have it. If you chose to have it, you would have to go after the people who chose not to have the vax, which sounds very judgmental, but it's not. Okay. You literally chose to inject something with many of you knowing that it was a death shot, knowing it was the kill shot. And you did it to save your skin or for save your job or whatever else. Those who chose not to have it, they lost their jobs, lost their houses, lost their family, lost everything, but they stood true to themselves, trusting that it was the right thing to do. So the whole idea of the people who were vaxxed going after the people who were not vaxxed was to get is was to be part of the awakening, to get you to basically say, I didn't trust myself. I took the easy way out. Okay. I now need to take responsibility for my actions. So next time I will 100% follow through with what I believe to be right. Now, this is a hard pill to swallow, and this is exactly why they said that those who are vaxxed will go after the non-vaxxed to get you to actually wake up and take responsibility. A lot of people hated that fact and went on an absolute rampage about how wrong it is, about that's judgmental, that's wrong, that's this, that's that. And that has always felt right to me because you injected something into your body and then it caused problems. It's not rocket science. It's like if you go and take heroin, you know that it's going to cause you problems, but you go and take it anyway for whatever reason. The reason doesn't matter. The absolute reason does not matter. Makes no difference what the reason is. The fact is, you chose to do it. You went against what you felt was right in most cases, and you chose to do it. People that are born paraplegic, people that are born with severe illnesses and have had lifelong, literally lifelong debilitating illnesses and diseases. It didn't make sense to me. Why should those people who have suffered their entire life go into a healing after someone who deliberately injected something into their body, most likely knowing that it could cause problems? So that didn't make sense to me. I would be pretty pissed off if someone like a drug dealer or cocaine addict got to use a MedBed before my mum because they'd done it to themselves, where my mum had blood clots and all of that through no fault of her own. Okay, I'd be pretty pissed off. It's like, well, you did this to yourself. You caused it. Here's an elderly woman, and you get to go before the elderly woman. Like, how unfair is that? Like, and just the last few days, it's been nagging at me. Something had changed. Something was that I hadn't been told. Something was slightly off. Hang on, I'm just going to turn the power on for the laptop. Hang on, 1 second. Okay, so we don't lose you. And I sat down, I'm setting up my Moloko to do my Moloko cleaning, making space. I just thought, no, just sit down for a minute. Just sit, close your eyes, relax, take a deep breath, and tune in and ask. Just ask the question. It feels like the right time to ask the question. So I did. And here's what I got. Those who chose, we're only talking about who chose, okay? If you didn't choose, like elderly, disabled, a child, okay, or vaxxed while you're having an operation, which many people were, okay, while they're on the operating table, they vax them. If you chose to be vaccinated for COVID, then you no longer have to wait at the end of the line. Because what they've done, what they've worked out by the collective consciousness and how it's improved over the years, is that when disclosure happens, they will tell you, you'll be told that you were tricked, you were lied to, and you deliberately, against your better judgment, injected something into your body that the conspiracy theorists were telling you would kill you, and you went and did it anyway. Knowing this will wake you up. Knowing this will switch on that light like, holy shit, how could I have been so stupid? How could I have done this to myself? And let's be honest, while we're being honest, knowingly, if you knew that the COVID vax was the kill shot because you had heard conspiracy theorists talk about it, you've heard all that and you denied them and you went and did it anyway, that is probably the biggest mistake of your life. Okay, now this is not a judgment. It doesn't matter what the circumstances were, you chose to do it. Okay. Knowing when disclosure happens, knowing what you did is enough to switch on that light in your mind to make sure you never do it again. Make sure you never inject something into your body because the government said so, or the TV told you so. Knowing that is enough for you to not do it again. For next time when something like this happens, that you will actually research, that you will look into it, that you will use discernment instead of just going, okay. So it actually doesn't matter why you took it. The fact is you did. Okay, whether it's to keep your job, makes no difference. Now, if you didn't know that it was a scam or, wrong, and you thought it was the best thing to do, then you were following your discernment, which is the correct path for you. Okay, whether it's caused damage to you or not makes no difference. If you felt it was the absolute right thing to do, and it would save you, it would protect you, it would keep you healthy and safe, then you are following your path, which means your reality was the right thing to do. So there is no judgment. The issue is if you knew that it was wrong and you did it anyway. Okay, that's why they said we'll put those who chose to be vaccinated at the end of the queue. Okay. If you took the jab to keep your job, knowing it was the wrong thing to do, you basically gave up your sovereignty and sold your soul in a very small way. Okay. It's still wrong. Many people who knew that it was wrong chose to not take it and they lost their jobs and they paid the consequences, but they didn't sell themselves to the cabal. Okay. So it doesn't matter the circumstances. We're only talking about the people who knew it was wrong and did it anyway. All right. If you didn't know it was wrong and you felt 100% of your very being that it was the right thing to do because it would protect you, it would save you, then there's absolutely nothing else to say. Okay. That's your reality. That's what you chose to experience. Okay. So in that case, you would not have gone to the back of the queue because you 100% with every fiber of your being knew it was the right thing to do. So you would not have gone to the back of the queue. Okay, the elderly would not have gone to the back of the queue. The children, the disabled, not have gone to the back of the queue. They didn't have a choice. pregnant women were being vaccinated for COVID while the doctors are telling them it's for something else. They were being forced. They were literally held down and jabbed, literally. Okay, they're not part of this. They didn't have a choice. They were literally forced to have it against their will while they're screaming no, 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 and they were being held down and jabbed. People were jabbed under anesthesia on the operating table. So these people are not included in this. It's only the people that knew it was wrong and did it anyway, no matter the circumstances that were included in this. Okay. Now it doesn't matter. Okay. Now it actually doesn't matter whether you knew it was wrong or not. Okay. The idea is when disclosure happens, you will know that it was wrong. You will know, you will face your own self-judgment. You'll face your own self-criticism. And this in itself, knowing you tried to kill yourself, you almost killed yourself, knowing this, how you did not take the chance, how you did not follow through in your own truth, this is the biggest lesson learned. And that is the inner lesson. Okay, that is the inner lesson. That is enough, well, not even punishment, that is enough of a lesson for you to not do it again. So now there is no protocols, I guess you could call it, for the vaxxed. They will go when they need to go according to their health. Now, with the order of the MedBeds, it is not children and elderly and veterans that go first. It is those who need to go first, followed by those who don't need to go first. And then down the line, it has nothing to do with your age or your military status. Nothing at all. It's not veterans go first. It's not elderly go first. It's not children go first. That is absolute BS. It is those in the most need, meaning those who are closest to death, will go first, no matter your age or military status. And then it'll work its way down from there. Okay, so me, I don't need to go first. I can live for the next 40 years without a MedBed. No problem. So I would probably go further to the back of the list. I might get my MedBed in a few years. Okay? A child who has mild autism, it might be 3 years before that child gets into a MedBed. A child who has severe autism, it might be 2 days. Okay? Someone with multiple sclerosis who is very severe might be in within a week. Someone who has MS, but only at the early stages, might be another year and a half. Okay? So please don't spread the BS of children and elderly and veterans go first. It is not true, not on any level, and never has been. The people who come up with that came up with it from their own judgment. It is not the way the military MedBeds will work. The people who started spreading that was from their own judgment of how they think it should go. Okay? How they think it should go, not how it's actually going to go. All right? So stop sharing that bullshit. Also, there are so many people who say January 1st, MedBeds will be available. Bullshit. Okay? That is one of the second biggest lies regarding MedBeds. There are no dates. Literally. The people who put it out from their own opinion. And then everyone's sharing it. I heard MedBeds will be out on January 1st. You heard wrong. You heard someone's opinion. It's bullshit. Please stop sharing it. Okay? Because that only does two things. One, it gets up people's expectations, looking forward to January 1st. And two, when January 1st comes and it hasn't happened, everyone's to blame. Oh, it didn't happen again. They lied. No, they didn't. They never put it out in the first place. They never put it out in the first place. Okay? There are no dates. There is no schedule for release. Now, in my opinion, and I have been told this from a certain general in the secret space program who is now retired from Earth military, but is in the secret space program. You can look him up, General McAllister. Okay, go for it. Look him up. He's a real person. What I've been told from him is that they will not give us any warning when they're going to release the MedBeds. They will simply release. You'll probably wake up one day or turn the TV on and there's President Trump and RFK Jr. I think that's his name. I don't follow anyone. Standing outside. They made this very clear. They would be outside at the podium thing that they stand and talk at, and they will disclose MedBeds and other medical technology. All of a sudden, that will be happening. There's not going to be a forewarning. We're not going to be given a date. We're not going to be given a heads up. RFK Jr. is correct. Thank you. I don't follow anyone except a couple of horse channels, Spanish horse channels, planning to rescue bullfighting horses. They're the only channels I follow. And Bashar, because he is actually one of my mentors. That's when it'll happen. They're not going to give us any warning. So many people have asked me, when are the MedBeds? I don't know. I'm not going to be told. Because the reason why we're not going to be told is because I've had 9 attempts on my life already. Literally 9. Okay? 9 attempts on my life already because I'm the closest one to the MedBeds. Because I'm the only senior MedBed educator on the planet. The other 4 are in the secret space program. Okay? And they're currently teaching the people here on Earth to use the MedBeds. Okay? I'm here publicly teaching. All right? So I'm the target. I'm the number 1 target on the planet when it comes to MedBeds. So we're not going to be told when they're going to be available. They'll just simply be disclosed and available. All right? Because of all the security issues that's been going on. All right? And if I know when they're going to be available, then if anything happens, then absolutely I'm an issue. Okay? So I'm not going to know any sooner than you. It'll all happen at once and we'll all know. Okay? I'm not going to get any heads up. So COVID vaccinated people no longer have to wait for the end of the queue for their treatment. Their own self-criticism, when they truly know what they've done, is enough for them to not do it again. And if they make the same mistake again and do not follow what they know to be right, then in my opinion, they're an idiot. That's just my opinion. So you make the same mistake twice. Okay, that is, radio on you, all on you. Okay. Now, this is no judgment. This is literally you taking responsibility for not following your truth. Okay. For you not following your truth. All right. It's time you stepped up. Okay. Sounds like Zim is a no now. What the hell? What, that's just a silly comment. Where the hell did you get that crap? Nobody said anything about Zim. That's ridiculous. Please don't bring crap like that here. Like, I don't even know why you would even think that. Use your discernment. Start thinking, okay? Literally start thinking for yourself, all right? Having Zim does not make you go first in the MedBeds, okay? Having Zim does not make you go first in the MedBeds. Being offered humanitarian funding is what allows you to go first or to jump to the head of the queue. Many people, actually most, very large majority of people who hold Zim will not receive humanitarian funds. Because it doesn't matter if you have Zim or not. If you are high enough vibrational frequency and you are ready to step into a role of leadership of this planet, then you will be offered humanitarian funds. Having Zim does not guarantee you humanitarian funds. You are receiving the funding, not your projects. You. Therefore, most people who have Zim will not be receiving humanitarian funds. They're not humanitarians. They want the Zim to get the money and they want the Zim to get an early MedBed. They're not. They're not humanitarians. They're not in it for the right reasons. They're literally not. They are, a lot of them, from my observations and dealings with the humanitarian community, most people, I'm not saying all, of course not all, a large majority of the community is very judgmental, very nasty, very negative. And of course, I'm generalizing here from my own experience and my own observations. No way in hell would I want to, oh, would I want to work in their projects or have anything to do with them. So your vibrational frequency will tell the alliance if you are a humanitarian or not. And if you're not, you will simply have a nice little exchange of your currency and of your Zim, and you'll walk away with nothing else. You won't walk away with a replicator. You won't walk away with an invitation to use the MedBeds. You won't walk away. You will walk away without the invitation to use the MedBeds, without the humanitarian funds, without the free phone, internet box, without the healing wand. You'll just get a nice little exchange and then you'll be on your way. That's it. Okay. Those who do get offered humanitarian funds will get an invitation to use the MedBeds plus 6 people if they choose. They will get a healing wand. They will get a replicator. They will get the phone and internet box. They will get free energy. They will get assistance in their projects. They will get pretty much everything. Why? Because they have done the work. They are of the heart. They are true humanitarians who want to work for humanity, that want this planet to be a beautiful, blissful utopia. Those who just go and buy Zim to get the money, believing they're going to get humanitarian funds, believing they're going to get an early MedBed, they're not humanitarians. They're not for humanity. They're for themselves. And the Alliance is not going to give those people a crap load of money, millions of dollars, to start up another cabal based on greed, power, selling one's own self for fame, etc. So really look at why you want the humanitarian funds, why you bought the Zim. And if it's not for anything other than helping humanity to become the most perfect utopia where everyone's equal, no judgment, If you're sharing nastiness about somebody else, that's not humanitarian. If you're throwing around, you're a scammer, you're a fraud, you have no idea what you're talking about, if you're throwing out your judgments and being nasty, that's not going to get you humanitarian funds. That's going to get you thrown off the humanitarian fund list. Also, here's another thing. With the Alliance, they're looking for people to be humanitarians who are focused on creating the future. Now, I know a lot of people who want humanitarian funding to do projects believe themselves to be high vibrational. Now, this is where self-assessment comes into it. If you are focusing on child trafficking, politics, the deep state, all of this, you are drawn to that low vibrational stuff because you yourself are in a low vibrational state. Okay. Now, those of the heart, those visionaries of the future, have nothing to do with all of that. They actually can't experience it, meaning they can observe it, but they cannot bring it into their reality because it makes them feel sick, because it's on a vibrational level that does not resonate with them. Now, this is, a lot of people say, what's my frequency? This is how to tell, by what you focus on. If you are focusing on negative, low vibrational stuff, chaos, you are in a low vibrational state. Literally, no matter your excuse, no matter, oh, I have to share truth. People need to wake up. Bullshit. If you are drawn to focusing on all that low vibrational stuff, you yourself are in a low vibrational state. Remember, you cannot experience what you are not the vibration of. So if you are high vibrational, you are not going to be focused on any of that. You're going to steer away from that. Okay, literally. That kind of stuff makes you feel sick. It doesn't interest you in any shape or form. When you're in a low vibrational state, you're in it. That's all you see because you're focused on it. So you're manifesting it. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Okay, literally, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if you're focused on all that stuff, that tells you what's going on internally. There's your vibrational frequency. Okay. If none of that resonates and you don't judge people that's done all that stuff and it makes you feel sick and it's just like, yeah, no, thank you very much, but no thank you. That's more than likely a telltale sign you're in a higher vibrational state, which makes you closer to receiving humanitarian funds. Literally, because you are higher vibrational. Higher vibrational people don't go into all of that stuff. Therefore, they are closer to receiving humanitarian funds because they're more future oriented, okay, rather than past oriented. They're looking to the future. They're not looking at what was. And as many of you are not going to like this, all that child trafficking, all of that cabal, all the politics, the election fraud has no place, no resonance, no anything to do with the future. Literally, it's not part of it because we're moving into a fifth dimensional environment. None of that stuff can come to the 5D. It's all 3D. It must stay there. It has to stay there. It can't come. So if you're choosing to focus on that, guess where you're staying? You're staying right there with all of that. You're not shifting into the 5D environment. 3D and 5D do not mix. literally. You're either here or you're there. It's not, I'm here. Literally. You're either here or there. If you're here in the 3D, don't expect humanitarian funds because they don't mix. Humanitarians are 5D. Okay, if you're in the 3D and you're focusing on 3D stuff and you're focused on exposing truth and this and that, and you're calling people scammers and frauds, and even just sharing posts about, that speak negatively about someone else, and you're liking comments that is speaking bad about somebody else, that's 3D. You're staying right there. You're not moving anywhere. You're staying there. If you're over here and you're focusing on the future and what you can create and how beautiful it's going to be, and you're not judging people, and you're even defending people, and you are, really absolutely legitimately wanting the best for people. When you say, I wish you all the best, you actually mean it, instead of saying, I wish you all the best while ramming an axe in your back. Then you're going to experience humanitarian funds. You're going to experience early MedBeds. You're going to experience being one of the leaders of the new earth. There is no mixing. It's either you're that or you're that. Okay? So be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of what you're focusing on. And know that if you bought Zim just to get an early MedBed or to get money, you're most likely going to walk away just with a simple exchange and nothing else. Okay? Be very aware. Now, the only people who will be receiving humanitarian funds that really are not humanitarians are people who know people. Okay? So if you receive humanitarian funds and you've promised your best mate, your best friend, to fund their project, then that person's going to be receiving, whether they're worthy of it or not, because you know someone. Okay? But the majority of humanitarians will be full on 5D for the future, have nothing to do with cabal, have nothing to do with current governments, nothing at all. They don't focus on that. That's in the past. It's not part of their reality. It makes no difference what they're doing. They're focused over here on the future of creating a utopian paradise for everyone as equals. Okay? So really look at why you want humanitarian funding. And then you will know, am I in my ego? Am I serving myself? Or am I actually here to serve the planet and beyond? Okay? And then you will know, do I get an early MedBed or not? All right? Is having no ego 5D? You cannot not have ego. Okay? Even 12D has a form of ego. Ego just is identity of self. Literally, identity of self. To have no ego, you would be pure spirit. Okay? What if you donate your Zim to one of Trump's projects? Are you considered a humanitarian? Makes no difference whether you donate or whether you do your own projects. You are being funded. Not what you're going to do with it, but you. Okay? You're the one who gets the funding. Doesn't matter if you donate, doesn't matter if you have your own projects, makes no difference. You get funded. Okay? So if you want to give it all the way to Trump's projects, or you want to fund 10 people's projects, makes no difference. If you are not that of a humanitarian vibration, you don't get invited to have humanitarian funds. Okay? It's you. Doesn't matter what you do with the money. Doesn't matter if you have your own projects or you donate. Makes no difference at all. You're the one that's going to be receiving. And if you're not of humanitarian frequency, then you will not be receiving no matter who you want to donate to. A few years ago, I wanted to get a team together that I could donate to their projects. And then I thought, well, what if I'm promising these people, or I would be because I wanted to do it, and then I realized, I'm promising these people funding. What if I don't get funded? Then I've already promised these people funding. Now, there's several people I know personally, I actually know personally, who have multiple global projects planned. One is a CEO in the United States on their team. And this person has promised with wages and everything, all the signed contracts, everything, that they will get funded and all of this. They got lawyers and everything. Like, there's a huge business person who knows everyone. I've also been told that this person, due to their low vibrational thinking and behavior, they will walk out with only a couple $100,000, and they have literally about 3,000 Zim notes. And they're going to walk out with just a couple $100,000 for their time and their effort. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm glad. Because this type of person should not be in a position of power. Should not be. And humanitarians are in a position of power. Literally. So you can't have someone who craves power, who is got their head so far up their backside and so full of judgment. That's just creating a whole new cabal. They have 3,100 T Zim notes, wanting all that money to do all these projects around the world. But their behavior and how they speak about others and what they do and say has crossed them off the list. They're not even receiving $1 million for 3,100 T notes. So many people say, oh, your vibration doesn't matter. It has to be this, there has to be the one rate and blah, blah. Your vibration does matter when you're talking about that amount of money. It does. So just saying, just saying, many people, from my observation, if they truly go by what they have described to me, the people who receive humanitarian funding will be approximately, and according to Ra, less than 2% of those who go to a redemption appointment. Less than 2% of people will receive humanitarian funds, because the others are either not ready, or they're nasty, or they're in it for the wrong reasons, or, for one reason or another. Less than 2%. So according to Ra, the humanitarian community is going to be extremely small. Extremely small. So just be aware, okay, that you are being watched. And I know for about 2 years, they were crossing people off the list. They crossed 5 million people off the list that were down for humanitarian funding. And they set challenges. They put out fake posts. They used me as bait. They used Wolverine as bait. And people who took the bait and joined in on the hate have been crossed off the list to receive humanitarian funding. Just saying. It's just saying. So if you don't receive humanitarian funding, it may not be because potentially you're a criminal, probably not, but it may be because you have shown who you truly are and have exposed your heart or lack of. okay, which means you are not the vibrational frequency for a humanitarian and not the type of person they're looking for to be a leader for the new earth, okay? Also, some people, and this is going to sound really judgmental, but it isn't, it's fact. Some people want to do projects, but simply are not ready. They're not ready to handle that kind of money. They're not ready to take responsibility. Now, I know in many of the MedBed groups, oh my God, many people in the MedBed groups refuse, absolutely refuse to take any kind of action. Any kind of action. They sit there twiddling their thumbs going, I don't know what to do. I'll wait before I even look at anything. I'm just not going to do anything. They haven't done any classes to improve themselves. They haven't even thought about improving themselves. They're just like, yep, I'll wait. Those people are not ready to be humanitarians, because being a humanitarian and doing projects, even if you're donating, means you have the drive to actually do and create. If you sit around going, wait, then what's going to change after you receive the money? You'll always procrastinate. You'll always find something else to do instead of the projects. A lot of people, and I get this all the time, you know, I get it all the time. Somebody will say, I don't know where to start. Well, shouldn't you be researching? Shouldn't you be looking at where to start and how to start your project? Shouldn't you be, taking classes instead of just going, oh, well, I'll wait. The Alliance will tell me what to do. Guess what? No, the Alliance will not tell you what to do. They expect you to already know. You've had enough time. You've had enough time to research. You've had enough time to prepare. Those people most likely won't receive humanitarian funding because they haven't prepared. They've had years and they've just sat on their hands and gone, yeah, I'll wait. And the Alliance will go, well, why should we give you humanitarian funds? You've done nothing. You've had all this time. Like, what's going to change after you receive the funds? Nothing. You're just still going to wait, and then you'll find something else to do, and then no projects will get done. Okay? So there's so much you should be doing right now that you should be doing. If you want to be a MedBed operator, go do mediumship. Go take a biology class. Look on YouTube. Research, study, improve yourself. Do spiritual courses. Being a MedBed operator is all about spirituality. Okay, if you want to be a spiritual counselor, take spiritual courses. Do mediumship. Mediumship is the number one thing you need to do. And yet hardly anyone does it. They just sit around going, oh yeah, I'll wait for the MedBed to clear my pineal gland. Nope. You will only receive what you are ready for. If you haven't done the work to be spiritual and to start your mediumship, then when you come out of the MedBed, nothing's going to change. Literally. What have you done to achieve it? Have you shown your desire? Have you taken action on your excitement and your passion? Have you shown the universe, I am ready, I want to do this? I guarantee you that less than 10%, probably less than that, but I'll be generous, less than 10% of people, if those redemption appointment notifications came out today, less than 10% of people going would be ready. Literally, less than 10% would be ready to go to a redemption appointment today to receive humanitarian funds. Why? Because the whole attitude of, I'll wait. Literally. I won't do anything. I'll just wait. That shows that you're not ready. And it's the whole thing. We had a discussion in class the other day about if you are running away from your current life, you're not ready for 5D. If you are wanting to get away from the 3D, you're not ready for 5D. If you're wanting to, and this is going to trigger a lot of people, and I'm giving you warning, so normally I wouldn't give you warning. If you are desperately trying to heal yourself, You're not ready to heal. Okay, that's going to trigger a lot of people. The more you're trying something, the more you're not ready to achieve it. Okay, if you're desperately wanting the RV, you're actually not ready for the RV. Sorry. Now, why are you not ready for that of which you so desperately want? It's because you're running away from what you already have. You haven't implemented what you have available to you in the moment. Therefore, you haven't learned what you need to in order to move on to the next level, to the next stage. So those of you who say, "Oh, ETs, please pick me up and take me home. I can't, I'm longing to go home." That's the reason why you're not ready to go home. Simply because you're running away from something. And when you run away from something, that something will persist. It will continue. You're so focused on what you don't want that you continue to get what you don't want instead of focusing on what you do want and then taking action. You just continuously stay in that same cycle. So if you're saying, "Oh, I wish the RV was here," do I wish the RV was here? Yeah, it'll make life easier. It'll make life a little less challenging and a little less stressful. Yeah. But is my whole life dependent on the RV? Absolutely not. If we were told the RV was not going to happen, it wouldn't make the slightest bit of difference to my life. Not one bit. Why? Because I'm at a happy place. I've accepted my circumstances. And that's how I moved out of the motel, by accepting and embracing my circumstances, not by trying to run away, but by accepting and embracing my circumstances and learning what I needed to learn. Only then did I move on. It's the same with your health. If you're running away from your health and desperately trying to heal it, you're actually not ready to heal because you haven't learned what you needed to learn from the experience. Therefore, the experience will persist. It will continue. Only when you embrace it and you learn from it and take what the opportunity is presenting, then you'll begin to heal. RV is my birthright. No, it isn't. That's ego. The RV is an opportunity for those who are visionaries and high vibrational. It's not a birthright. You chose to come into a reality of suppression. Literally, you chose this. It's not a birthright. You chose it. Okay. A birthright is what truthers throw around with ego. Remember, we all chose this experience, no matter how painful, no matter how horrible, we chose it. It's time everybody stood up and took responsibility for their choices. You chose your illness to learn from. You chose to be homeless to learn from. You chose to be hated at work or jobless or whatever. You chose to be the black sheep of the family. You chose it all. And when you start to get out of that victim mentality of I've been suppressed, you chose the suppression. Literally, you chose it or you wouldn't be here. If your spirit did not choose it, you would not be here. You would be experiencing something very different. Yeah, you did choose it. You're not going to win that argument. You did choose it. When you learn about consciousness and spirituality and how life actually works, you chose all of it. Right? You can say no and stay in the victim mentality as much as you like. Makes no difference. You chose it. When you accept you chose it, then you can change it. But while you're playing the victim of, no, I didn't, it's going to continue. It will continue for you. Because if you're not willing to accept and take responsibility for something, then you can't change it. You just stay in the victim mentality of, I didn't choose it, this isn't me, I'm being suppressed, I'm being murdered, I'm being this, I'm being that, how dare everybody else? Well, everybody else is just a reflection of you. So if everybody else is a reflection of you, then you're choosing it and they're reflecting your choices. So choose a reality that you do prefer instead of what you don't prefer. Basic physics. I know nothing about science that's been memory suppression from the SSP. I'm blocked. But even that makes sense to me. It's just basic physics, the most basic form of physics you can possibly have. Stop playing the victim, start taking responsibility, and start doing the work. Anyone who's in victim mentality will not move forward. They'll stay exactly where they are. You don't have a choice if you don't have options. Don't give me that bullshit. That's just rubbish. That's a lie you tell yourself to keep yourself in victim mentality, in victim mode. I don't have options. I can't do anything. Bullshit. Haven't opened yourself up to the many millions of different possibilities. You're so focused on one thing that you can't see anything else. My belief when I lived in the motel when I was homeless was there's no way I can't see how I'm going to get out of this motel without the RV. There's no way. I couldn't see any option. And then I went, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being angry all the time. I'm sick and tired of playing the victim. I've learned about spirituality. I studied consciousness. I know how life works. I'm now taking responsibility. I must, if I'm here at this motel, if I've gone through and going through this experience, there must be a reason for it. Must be. Now I have to open my mind to find that reason. Okay, let's look at all the different possibilities. Maybe I'm here to teach me acceptance. Maybe I'm here because I was a very judgmental person. And now I'm surrounded by everybody that I would have judged. Maybe I'm here, not so much for myself, but to give these people hope, to bring the light. How can I bring the light if I'm always depressed? How can I be of service to these people and to this location that is so full of darkness? When I opened up to all the different possibilities and I embraced my time at the motel, I embraced my situation, this property came across my newsfeed on Facebook. And I didn't take action because I thought it was way out of my price range. It didn't have a price attached to it. Way out of my price range. So I didn't do anything about it. It kept coming back and back, and I kept taking notice. Oh, I kept dreaming. I wish, like, oh my God, it'd be so amazing. I'll think of the possibilities. And I didn't take action. And then one day, that little voice clicked. What if I did take action? What if I did just message the real estate and say, how much? Please, can you tell me how much? Can you imagine if it was in my budget? Yeah, I can. So I messaged the real estate and I said, I'm just inquiring about the horse property. Can you give me a price guide? Hello, in my price range. A week later, literally a week later, I was out of the motel. I was living on 400 acres. And then within 6 months, now I've got 20 horses. I never thought that possible because I was so blinded and so focused on only getting out of the motel for one reason, and that was the RV. Literally, learn what is available to learn from your experience. Take the opportunities that's being presented to you instead of playing the victim and giving up your power and your sovereignty, and then your situation will change. It doesn't matter what the situation is, only how you deal with it matters. And that's with all situations. All situations. Not just I'm homeless, not just I don't have a job, not just I'm sick. Every single situation does not matter. Makes no difference. It's just an experience. What you do with the experience and how you handle it matters. Literally. Okay. First day in the shelter, I cried. It was very humbling. I was put there to have compassion and to help others. I have heard of people going to the door of a house out of their price. Exactly. That's right. Take action. Take responsibility. Get out of that victim mentality. Take responsibility for your life. No one else is responsible to what happens to you. Only you are. Take responsibility. Get out of victim mentality. Take the opportunities that's being presented with the situation, learn from it, and take action. Focus on what you want and become what you want. For example, what I mean when I say become what you want, if you want to be a lawyer, right? Perfect example. If you want to be say a policeman, you want to be a really good police officer. You don't go around doing a life of crime, drug deals, robberies, all of that, and assaults to become a police officer, unless you're working undercover, and then that's different. But if you want to be a really good police officer, you don't live a life of crime. You live a life that is honorable and truth and a life of that reflects what it is you want. And that's even before you become a police officer. You live a life of truth and honor. If you want to live a life, if you want to be a lawyer, you don't go around committing crimes and spending your life in jail to become a lawyer. You study the law. You become the lawyer before you're actually qualified. So you're naturally standing up for people. You're naturally advocating for truth. Okay? Perfect example. So why can't you do that now? You want to be a humanitarian, but you're waiting. You're waiting until your bank account is full. You're waiting until you're physically perfect. No. Humanitarian can literally be saying good morning to someone that's sitting on the side of the street. Good morning, how are you? Simply noticing him. It doesn't cost you money. It doesn't cost you anything. Literally saying, hi, how are you? Noticing that person, making them feel like life has not forgotten them. That's a humanitarian. How many of you do that? A true smile, a true, genuine interest in someone who is filthy and dirty and smelly and sitting on the side of the road begging for help. How many of you actually notice, like truly notice those people and make them feel alive? Not many. That's a humanitarian. You don't need money for that. When you get out of the idea that I can only do my projects when I have the RV and when I have the MedBed, you've got to get out of that mentality because that's not going to get you humanitarian funds. It really isn't. It really isn't. We don't have humanitarian funds yet. I have a stable of 20 rescue horses. I don't even need to present my project at the redemption appointment. What for? It's already going. It's in the middle of it. Why would I present that? I've already done it. Literally. So I think we need training for many humanitarians. Many have good hearts but just don't know how to start. That's BS. I'm sorry, that is BS. You don't know how to start because you haven't done the work. You haven't bothered to research. And I say you haven't bothered because no matter your physical condition, no matter your financial situation or your home or homeless, You have this, the entire world's computer in your hand. There is no excuse for not knowing where to start. Research. Get off social media and scrolling useless, pointless crap and do what you claim you want to do after you do have a bank account full of money. There is no excuses. Let's put this into perspective. Humanitarians potentially will receive several billion, if not trillion dollars. Do you really think, and let's be honest, do you really think the alliance is going to trust someone or entrust someone with several trillion dollars who has done no research and who claims, I don't know where to start? Absolutely not. If you don't know where to start, you better get off your ass and start learning. Start doing something to say, I am a humanitarian, I am trustworthy, I am ready. There is no excuses for people not knowing where to start. There literally isn't. Now, the MedBed groups, just on Telegram, oh my God, so many times in a few groups that I know of, the admins have tried everything to get the people involved. Okay, now what are we doing? She's even given them exercises to do. She's given them tasks to do, to collaborate together. No one stepped up. It's all, what do you want us to do? And then they don't even go and do it. Are they humanitarians? Nope. They're not going to be receiving funds. If you can't be bothered to step up and do it now and to be involved now and put yourself forward now as a leader, you are not a leader in the new world. How many times have I asked for people to join me? Each time I've asked for people to join me, I've got hundreds of people. I'll join you. Sky, what do you need us to do? No, that's not joining me. That's following me. Step up. Be a leader. Take action. Stand in front of the group. But nope. Sky, what do you need me to do? Sky, tell me what to do. What do we do next? Nope. You're not a humanitarian. You're not a leader. A humanitarian is a leader of the new world, the new earth. If you can't lead, how can you lead a humanitarian project? You can't. If you can't lead a MedBed group on a social media page, how the hell are you going to do projects? You're not. Yes, there is leading. There absolutely is. Humanitarians are natural born leaders and they take action on it. Pretty much everyone else are followers, which means they're not a leader, which means they're not capable of doing projects. Because even if you receive, let's say, $1 million, that's all you receive, $1 million, and you want to do a community garden, you have to decide how that garden's going to be set out. You may hire someone to set it out for you, but you're still a leader by taking on the role of hiring someone. That person is reporting back to you. You're a leader. You're in charge. You're a leader. So again, don't say there is no leading. That's bullshit. That's a term. That's a spiritual thing. We're all equal. BS. BS. Absolute BS. Someone, even in 12D, takes the lead. Why do you think they have the high councils? If there's no leadership, then chaos. Who makes the top decisions? The ones at the top make the top decisions. They're all leaders at the top. In every single civilization out there, There is a group of beings that lead the race, that lead the planet. Every single civilization. And please don't come at me and say, no, there isn't. Yeah, there is. I've been in this for a very long time, and not just here on Earth. Yes, there is a leadership. There is a council, high council of every single race, every one of them. Okay. The intention of throwing money around that was given to you doesn't make you a humanitarian. Correct. So if you just want to throw money over here, throw money over there, throw money over there, blah, 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 that's not a humanitarian. Okay. That just is a feeling that makes you feel good. Literally. Okay. So, yeah. Um, Funny you bring up the community garden. I was just talking to my husband about this and how we could make it happen. There you go. You're taking action. You're thinking. You're formulating a plan. Perfect. So maybe truthers are still 3D but think they're 5D, and it's quite sad. That is exactly how it is. Because this is why I don't believe disclosure. Not in the way that they say, not in the way where they claim, the 10 days of darkness and it's going to be shown on TV or all of that. We've shown people, we've told them until we're blue in the face. Hasn't clicked. So why on earth would they show it on TV? People are just not going to believe it anyway. Why? Because it's not their reality. It's actually not their reality. Disclosure and truth comes from within, not from something you see on TV. The people who believe everything on TV, they're walking zombies. That's their reality. It's like they're spiritless, it's like they're drones, non-player characters. They don't have the intuition, they don't have the discernment. They're like robots. Okay? And that's their reality. So to show everything on TV, they're not going to believe it because that goes against every single thing that they've learned so far. Can you imagine telling these people that Trump is actually the good guy? No, they're not going to believe that. Can you imagine telling all these religious people that the Bible was written in the future and it keeps being edited for the changing times to make it fit, to say it's true, just reinforcing the mind control? Can you imagine if they disclosed that on the TV? No, not true, not going to happen. They're just going to turn it off and walk away because it doesn't fit with what they have chosen to experience. True disclosure and truth comes from within. And there's no need for that to be splashed all over TV and social media. You already know. You don't need to see it on TV. You don't need for someone to tell you. You feel it. You know it. That's why I don't believe we're going to see anything on the TV except drip, drip, drip disclosure. So, yes, a lot of truthers who focus on all of that stuff are 3D and are not 5D. 5D is a very different vibrational frequency. It's from the heart. You don't need to spread truth around because you know that when someone is having their awakening, when they need disclosure, they will know it, whether you take part in it or not. They will know it. And a lot of people say, oh, yes, but it's opening doors. It's planting the seeds. Maybe. But whether you plant the seeds and open the doors or not, their spirit's in charge. Their spirit will plant the seed when it's time. No need for your input. The awakening is an internal thing, not an external thing. It's a spiritual thing, and you can't get spirit from a TV. You can't get a spirit from social media. You have to feel it. You have to know it. You have to feel the emotions of it. You don't get that from somebody else telling you something. Okay. Yeah, Google is a great place to start. If you want to start an animal sanctuary like I do, just type into Google how to start an animal sanctuary. That's what I mean. Every single person on this planet has a computer, the world computer in their hand. There is no excuse. I don't know how to start. That's bullshit. That's you saying I can't be bothered. Okay. The only people who can use that excuse are those who have dementia and those who actually don't have the mental capacity to think for themselves. That's it. Everybody else, or babies, everybody else is no excuse. There isn't. If you can watch my video right now, you can research how to start a humanitarian project. Literally, there is no excuses. Okay. I so wanted the RV before Christmas so I could give them so much more. My son finishes there this week, but I'll have to go back next year. That's not exactly humanitarian. Okay. Now, it may be humanitarian, but it's not really 5D. And I'll tell you why it's not 5D. You want your family to have so much more. Why? I'll tell you why. Because if you want them to have more, you're acknowledging they lack, which they don't. They have everything they need. They always will. So this is a self-judgment. This is a 3D thinking. You're a belief that they lack, a belief that you lack. So this is not coming from your heart. This is coming from a belief that you hold. That's not a humanitarian. That's a negative belief. Okay. So wanting to give someone something because you think that they don't have what they need is a belief that you hold, and it doesn't come from the heart. Every single person has every single thing that they need. Maybe not what they want, but what they need. And when you think they want more or need more, that's an abundance of lack that you have. Not what they have, but what you have. And that is an internal, personal thing that you need to work on. You would like them to have more. Why? Ask yourself, why do I want my family to have more? Simple, because I have a belief that they lack. That's it. That's not humanitarian. That's a belief. Okay. This is where we get deeper into consciousness. All right. All right. I'll do a couple more questions. We need to open our minds and our hearts most. Open your heart and your mind will follow. If you don't have an open heart, your mind will not follow because the heart is the key to consciousness. So the heart is the key to the mind. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the heart, you ain't going nowhere. If you have the heart, you will always have the knowledge. All right. Okay. People say it's my dream to help. Wow. Stop dreaming. Volunteer, sponsor, spay, neuter, donate, go walk dogs, clean cages at the shelter, stop making excuses. That's right. If it's your dream to help, then go and help. Don't wait until you own your own project. If it's your dream to help help animals, go and help. If it's your dream to help the homeless, stop dreaming and go and do it. Go to a church. Help hand out food. Help hand out clothes. Help. If it's your dream to help kids, go and help them. Literally, go and help them. You've all got social media. You've all got some form of social media. You've all got YouTube. You've all got Google. You've all got your local town hall or city hall or community centre or church. If you want to be a humanitarian, go and do it. Otherwise, you won't be a humanitarian later. Go help. Literally. So, you know, my friend said RFK talked about health chips. Is that one of the new technologies along with beds, with MedBeds? I hope not. I won't be using any chip for anything. Sorry. I think it's one of those things to piggyback on Elon Musk's Neuralink. It's like, wake up, people, bad stuff happening. Just remember the Trump administration is giving good intel as well as intel to say, look over here, do not do this. Okay. They're also helping to trigger people's intuition and discernment. So I will not be using or going anywhere near any kind of chip. Okay. Isn't hoping about getting humanitarian funding and MedBed healing holding you back also? Yes. Yes. When you hope for something, you're acknowledging that you don't have it, meaning you're creating a reality where you don't have it. Hoping and praying will hold you back, will keep you where you are. Even saying, I hope it happens, you're acknowledging that it hasn't happened and therefore probably won't happen anytime soon. Know it's already happening and be happy and comfortable with when it happens because you know it's going to happen. So there's no need to hope it's going to happen because you know it's already happening. You know it's going to happen. There's no need to hope it. So why hope? Just saying. Just saying. One purpose for RV is generational wealth. Here's an idea that focuses on one form of abundance. Do you know in the future we will have no money? Which is why I can't understand why they're releasing the RV, why they're even doing it. There's not going to be money in the future. I see no point in the RV. We just go from one monetary system to another. The only reason I can think of why they're doing the RV is to get people in a mental state of abundance. Not a physical state, but a mental state of abundance. Because if you have right now, people are in debt. People always have to look at their bank account to see if they can afford something. People are always in that lack mentality. I don't have, I need to make this to pay for that. It's all the lack mentality. But when you are in full abundance, you don't need to look at your bank account. I haven't looked in my bank account for ages because I know and I trust that the money I need will always be there when I need it. And it always is. I literally haven't looked at my bank account for about 3 months because I know that I'm fully taken care of in my passion and my excitement. The universe is supporting me in every way, 100% of the time. So that is an abundance mentality. So the only reason I can think of for the RV is so people over time get out of the mentality of I can't afford, that I don't have, to get them in a state where I do have, I can afford. I trust I will have what I need when I need it and not a second before. I don't have to panic. I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress because I know everything in perfect timing. If I don't have the ability to get what I need, it's because I don't need it. Literally, I don't need it. If I can't afford it, I don't need it. Or maybe there's another way I can get what I want without actual money. Abundance comes in many forms. So generational wealth, that's just, to me, that term is not realistic. It's just reinforcing there is only one way of abundance, and that's money, which is not really helping people's consciousness to move forward. It's just creating another dependence on money. People need to start learning and opening their mind that there is more ways to get things done than just through money. Literally. Abundance comes in many forms, many, many forms. Money is only one of them. So start opening your mind. Start seeing that you are already wealthy. Even if you have $0 in your account, you're already one of the richest people on the planet. When you realize that, more will come to you in many ways. Okay. All right, I'll do one more and then I got to go start my day. Yes, that generational wealth is silly. We won't use money in the near future, as you said. Yeah, it's just creating another dependence on money. So I really don't see the need for the RV except to get people in a very financially healthy position where they can get themselves out of the lack mentality. But that's it. That's it. Yeah, hoping is doubting, believing is realizing. When your sites go down for a few months, will purchased classes remain for a while? Listening more than once or twice lets me hear more of what you say. Um, those classes will remain for a week. Now, the reason why they'll only remain for a week is because I've asked everyone to download them, that's purchased them, download them and keep them, okay, if you choose to. I when the notifications come, I because I have a lot of people after using me and after everything, when I log out, because I will be logging out of my social media, if I just log out, then someone can come in while I'm not here because I'm not going to be checking on my accounts. Okay. Someone can come in and cause absolute havoc, and you guys think it's me when it isn't. All right. So I'm going to be deleting my Telegram 24 hours, not just close, not just turning comments off, but actually deleting my Telegram account altogether 24 hours after the RV notifications, deleting it completely. My YouTube, which is the only other one I've got, I'll be taking all of the public videos down. I'll be deleting all of them, probably the same day as the RV notifications. So there'll be one video remaining, and that's the one that my admins did for me. Okay, the one they created. That'll be the only video public. Then I'll leave it a week for the private classes. Okay, and then I'll be removing them one by one as well. Why? Because when I sign out of that YouTube channel, I don't want someone to be able to come in and cause havoc with all the videos because I won't be signing back in, probably ever. Okay. I'll be getting rid of my passwords and everything. I'll just be deleting it, getting rid of it out of my life altogether. Okay. So if you have any of those paid classes that you do want to keep, you need to download them and save them now. Download them onto your device, because when I remove them off YouTube, if you've just downloaded them onto YouTube, then in your private YouTube, then they will also be removed. So you actually need to download them onto your devices. Okay, that's really important. All right. Okay. All right, when this video is finished processing, I will post my available classes. Now, the Spiritual Counselor 3-month course started a couple of days ago. I've extended it for 2 weeks, okay? So if you want to take that class, you need to be in within the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, that class is closed for good because we're doing exercises, group activities, and we can't have people coming in at all different times. Okay, so I've extended it for 2 weeks. That's it. All right. Now, once those RV notifications come out, all my classes and private sessions will be immediately cancelled and you'll get a full refund. Okay, but please allow up to 2 weeks for the refund to come in because I have to go into each person's account and refund individually, and each refund takes about 5 minutes to do. Okay, so it's a complicated process for each refund. So please allow me time to actually get through everyone. Okay. Also, my email will be deleted. You will not be able to contact me in any shape or form, no matter the reason. Whether life and death makes no difference. You will not be able to get in contact with me. I will not be answering emails, messages, anything. Okay, nothing. So I'll be completely disappeared. Alrighty, and that is for my own safety as well. I can't be online because once the RV notifications comes or once the MedBeds are released, I'm priority target number 1 for the deep state or criminal gangs who want to use the MedBeds for their own purposes. Okay, so I have to get off 100%. Okay, so with the Spiritual Counselor course, I do have a part payment. Okay, so you need to pay half. Okay, and then the second half is due before the 3rd class begins. Okay, so we had the first class. So how it goes is we have one class, and then the next week we have a Q&A, then a class, then a Q&A, then a class, then a Q&A. So the first half of the payment must be paid to get into the course, and then the second half of the payment must be paid before the start of the 3rd class. Okay, and I'm not going to extend it because I've done nothing but extend all my classes all the time. And it is actually complicated to extend the payment links and all of that, and it just gets too messy. Okay, so yeah, all right. So all good. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I wanted the animal mediumship, and there was another one I can't remember. I tried the last address but was unsuccessful. Vibrational medicine, that's the other one. So I'll put the list of classes in the comments when this video is finished processing. Alrighty, so take care everyone and have a beautiful day. Bye.